Hi guys, welcome to my study compass. In this video, I'll be walking you through the past paper Math P4 Variant 3 May-June 2021. Let's get started. Yasmin and Zach share an amount of money in the ratio 21:19. Yasmin receives $6 more than Zach. Calculate the total amount of money shared by Yasmin and Zach. We've been given the difference in the amount of money they received as $6, and we can find the difference in ratio by subtracting 19 from 21, which gives us 2. We are interested in finding the total amount of money they shared, which we have represented as X, and we can find the total ratio by finding the sum of 21 and 19, which gives us 40. Based on this, we can set up an equation to find X. This gives us X equals 40 over 2 times $6, which is $120. In a sale, all prices are reduced by 15%. Yasmin buys a blouse with an original price of $40. Calculate the sale price of the blouse. Since we are dealing with a 15% reduction in the original price, we subtract 15% from 100%. This means the sale price is 85% of the original price, which is $40. When we type this into the calculator, we get $34. Zach buys a shirt with a sale price of $29.75. Calculate the original price of the shirt. This time around, we've been given the sale price and we have to find the original price. We also know that all the sale prices have been reduced by 15%. And so we have 85% of the original price is equal to the sale price, which is $29.75. After we make OP the subject and type the resulting expression into the calculator, we get $35. Javier's salary increases by 2% each year. In 2010, his salary was $40,100. Calculate his salary in 2015. Give your answer correct to the nearest dollar. We are told that his salary keeps increasing each year, which means we have a compound interest scenario in this case. And so we need to apply the compound interest formula to find his salary at the end of 2015. The big A represents his salary at the end of 2015, which is what we are finding. The small a represents his initial salary, which is $40,100. R is the rate, and that is 2. T is the time duration in years, which is 5. When we type this into the calculator, we get his salary in 2015 as $44,273.64. To correct this value to the nearest dollar, we look at the value right after the decimal point. Since it is greater than 5, we add 1 to 3 and ignore all the numbers after the decimal point. And so our final answer becomes $44,274, correct to the nearest dollar. In which year is Javier's salary first greater than $47,500? When we apply the compound interest formula for this scenario, this is what we get. In this case, we've been given the value of big A and we have to find the value of T. There are two main approaches that we can use to tackle this problem. One of these is the trial and error approach, which I touched on in question 3bii of this past paper. The other approach is to use log, which we'll be looking at here. The benefit of using log is that it usually takes a shorter time to arrive at the final answer. 1 plus 2 over 100 is 1.02. When we divide both sides of the equation by 40,100, this is what we get. To make T the subject, we apply the basic definition of log, which says that T is equal to the log of this number number, which is 47,500 divided by 40,100 to the base of 1.02. From here, all we need to do is type this expression into the calculator and we get 8.55. This means that for a salary greater than $47,500, it took Javier a total of 9 years from 2010. And so our final answer will be 2019. In January 2020, the population of a town was 5% more than its population in January 2018. In January 2021, the population of this town was 2% less than its population in January 2020. Calculate the overall percentage increase in the population from January 2018 to January 2021. Okay, so let's represent the population in January 2018 with Y. The population in January 2020 is 5% more than the population in 2018. So we have 105 over 100 times Y, which is 1.05 Y. The population in January 2021 is 2% less than the population in 2020. So we have 98 over 100 times 1.05 Y, which is 1.029 Y. So now the overall percentage increase from January 2018 to 2021 is equal to the population increase, which is 1.029 Y minus Y divided by the initial population, which is Y, times 100%. 1.029 Y minus Y is 0.029 Y. The Y's cancel out, and so 0.029 divided by 1 times 100% gives us 2.9%. Y equals px squared plus t. Find the value of y when p is equal to 3, x equals 2, and t equals -13. When we slot in the values for the given letters into the equation, we get y equals 3 times 2 squared plus -13. This gives us y equals -1. Rearrange the formula to write x in terms of p, t, and y. First, let's subtract t from both sides of the equation. This gives us px squared equals y minus t. When we divide both sides of the equation by p, we get x squared equals y minus t over p. Now, when we take square root of both sides of the equation, we get x equals plus and minus square root of y minus t over p. Factorize 15x squared minus 2x minus 8. Negative 2x can be rewritten as 10x minus 12x. For the first two terms, when we factor out 5x, we are left with 3x plus 2. And for the final two terms, when we factor out -4, we are left with 3x plus 2. This can be rewritten as 5x minus 4 times 3x plus 2. Solve the equation 15x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0. We've already factorized 15x squared minus 2x minus 8 in the previous question, so we can rewrite this equation as 5x minus 4 times 3x plus 2 equals 0. When we equate 5x minus 4 to 0, we get x equals 4 over 5. And when we equate 3x plus 2 to 0, we get x equals -2 over 3. Factorize completely. X cubed minus 16xy squared. These two terms have x in common. When we factor that out, we are left with x squared minus 16y squared. X squared minus 16y squared is a difference of two squares and can be rewritten as x all squared minus 4y all squared. Based on the difference of two squares formula, we can factorize this as x plus 4y times x minus 4y, and so our final answer here is x times x plus 4y times x minus 4y. Simplify. 2x minus 1 minus 4ax plus 2a divided by 2x squared minus x. In the numerator, 4ax and 2a have the term 2a in common. When we factor that out, we are left with 2x minus 1. In the denominator, the two terms have x in common. When we factor x out, we are left with 2x minus 1. For the numerator, 2x minus 1 is common to these two terms, and so when we factor that out, we are left with 1 minus 2a. 2x minus 1 cancels out in the numerator and the denominator, and this leaves us with 1 minus 2a over x. Find the range. So the range in this case will be Zoe's highest score, which is 10, minus her lowest score, which is 6. 10 minus 6 is 4. Find the mode. The mode is the most recurring score, and in this case, that is 7. Find the median. The median is the middle score. The scores have already been arranged in ascending order. And so when we count 4 from the right and 4 from the left, we get the middle score as 8. The cumulative frequency diagram shows information about the time taken by each of 200 students to solve a problem. Use the diagram to find an estimate of the median. Half of 200 students is 100. When we map 100 on the diagram, we get the median time as 14 minutes. Find an estimate of the interquartile range. The interquartile range is equal to the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. To get the upper quartile, we map 3/4 of 200, which is 150 on the diagram. This gives us 15 minutes. To get the lower quartile, we map 1/4 of 200, which is 50 on the diagram. This gives us 11 minutes. 15 minus 11 minutes is 4 minutes. The test scores of 200 students are shown in the table. Calculate the mean. The mean is sigma f of x, which is the total sum of all the scores, divided by sigma f, which is the total number of scores. Sigma f of x is 5 times 3 plus 6 times 10 plus 7 times 43 plus 8 times 75 plus 9 times 48 plus 10 times 21, and sigma f is 200. When we type this into the calculator, we get the mean as 8.09. The height in centimeters of each of 200 plants is measured. The histogram shows the results. Calculate an estimate of the mean height. You must show all your working. In this case, we only have the height ranges or intervals for all the plants and their frequency densities. To help us get the mean, we need to find two sets of data, which are the average height and the frequency. Let's start with finding the average height. For the first interval, the average height is 50 plus 80 divided by 2, which is 65. Then we have 80 plus 100 divided by 2, which is 90. The next is 100 plus 110 divided by 2, which is 105. 110 plus 120 divided by 2, which is 115. And 120 plus 160 divided by 2, which is 140. Now let's find the frequencies. For the first interval, the frequency is equal to the frequency density, which is 1, times the interval width, which is 80 minus 50. This gives us 30. Then we have 3.5 times 100 minus 80, which is 70. The next is 4 times 110 minus 100, which is 40. 3.6 times 120 minus 110, which is 36, and 0.6 times 160 minus 120, which is 24. Now that we have these two sets of data, sigma f of x is 65 times 30 plus 90 times 70 plus 105 times 40 plus 115 times 36 plus 140 times 24, and sigma f is 30 plus 70 plus 40 plus 36 plus 24. When we type this into the calculator, we get 99.75 centimeters. A is the 0.15 and B is the 0.39. M is the midpoint of AB. Find the coordinates of M. By applying the midpoint formula, the x-coordinate of M will be 1 plus 3 divided by 2, which is 2. And the y-coordinate of M will be 5 plus 9 divided by 2, which is 7. Find the equation of the line that is perpendicular to AB and passes through M. Give your answer in the form y equals mx plus c. First, let's find the value of M. The gradient of the perpendicular line times the gradient of the line AB must be equal to -1. We can find the gradient of line AB by applying the gradient formula, which gives us 5 minus 9 divided by 1 minus 3. When we simplify this further and make M the subject of the equation, we get -12. So now we have the gradient of the perpendicular line, and we know that this line passes through M, which has coordinates 2, 7. This gives us 7 equals -12 times 2 plus c. -12 times 2 is -1. When we add 1 to both sides of the equation, we get c equals 8. Hence, the equation of the perpendicular line is y equals -12 x plus 8. The position vector of P is -2, 3, and the position vector of Q is -2, 5. Find the vector PQ. PQ is equal to PO plus OQ. PO is the same as -OP. For the top element of vector PQ, we have -2 minus -2, which gives us 0. And for the bottom element, we have 5 minus 3, which is 2. And so our final answer here is 0, 2. R is the point such that PR equals 3PQ. Find the position vector of R. In other words, we are asked to find OR. Given that PR equals 3PQ, PR is equal to PO, which is the same as -OP plus OR. When we make OR the subject of the equation, we get 3PQ plus OP. We have already found vector PQ in the previous question, and we know vector OP. And so for the top element of vector OR, we have 3 times 0 plus -2, which gives us -2. And for the bottom element, we have 3 times 2 plus 3, which is 9. And so our final answer here is -2, 9. OT equals T, OU equals U, and UY equals 2YT. Find OY in terms of T and U. Give your answer in its simplest form. OY equals OT plus TY. TY is 1/3 of TU. TU is TO plus OU. OT is T, TO is -T, and OU is U. When we expand the brackets and group like terms, we have 2/3T plus 1/3U. Z is on OT and YZ is parallel to UO. Find OZ in terms of T and or U. Give your answer in its simplest form. We are told that YZ is parallel to UO. If this is the case, then we can use our knowledge of angles in parallel lines to tell that corresponding angles in the small triangle TYZ and the big triangle OUT are equal. Therefore, they are similar. If we understand that these two triangles are similar, this also means that the ratio of their side lengths must be equal. And so if we have a 1:2 split on UT, then we are also going to have a 1:2 split on OT. From this split, we can now see that OZ is equal to 2/3 of OT. OT is T, so we have 2/3T as our final answer. Solve the simultaneous equations. X plus 2y equals 13. X plus 5y equals 22. We have x in equation 1 and equation 2, and so we can easily eliminate this variable when we subtract equation 1 from equation 2. This gives us x minus x, which is 0, plus 5y minus 2y equals 22 minus 13. 5y minus 2y is 3y, and 22 minus 13 is 9. When we divide both sides of the equation by 3, we get y equals 3. To find x, we can put the value of y in either of the equations. If we pick equation 1, we have x plus 2 times 3 equals 13. 2 times 3 is 6. When we subtract 6 from both sides of the equation, we get x equals 7. And so for our final answers, we have x equals 7 and y equals 3. Solve the simultaneous equations. Y equals 2 minus x and y equals x squared plus 2x plus 2. In this case, we have y in equation 1 and 2, and so we can easily eliminate y by subtracting equation 1 from equation 2. This gives us y minus y, which is 0, equals x squared plus 2x plus 2 minus 2 minus x. When we expand the brackets and group like terms, we get x squared plus 3x equals 0. We have a quadratic equation and we can easily solve it using factorization. X is common to both terms, and so when we factor it out, we are left with x plus 3. From here, we get two values for x. X equals 0 and x equals negative 3. We can find the corresponding y coordinates for these x values by substituting them into any of the equations. If we pick equation 1, we have when x equals 0, y equals 2 minus 0. 2 minus 0 is 2. When x equals negative 3, we have y equals 2 minus negative 3, which gives us y equals 5. And so for our final answers, we have 0, 2 and negative 3, 5. In a class of 24 students, 18 students like homework, 15 students like tests, and 1 student does not like homework and does not like tests. Complete the Venn diagram to show this information. Okay, so we know that 1 student does not like homework and does not like tests. So that leaves us with 23 students who fit into the sets H and T. To find the number of students who like homework and tests, we subtract 23 from the sum of 18 and 15. This gives us 10. So now if 18 students like homework, then 10 plus the number in this region must add up to 18. And so 18 minus 10 gives us 8. If 15 students like tests, then 10 plus the number in this region must add up to 15. And so 15 minus 10 gives us 5. Write down the number of students who like both homework and tests. As we have discussed, the number of students who like both homework and tests are 10 in total. Find the number of students in H complement intersection T. This is simply the number of students who like tests and do not like homework. From the Venn diagram, there are 5 in total. A student is picked at random from the class. Write down the probability that this student likes tests but does not like homework. This probability is equal to the number of students who like tests and do not like homework, which we found in the previous question as 5, divided by the total number of students, which is 24. And so we have 5 over 24 as our final answer. 2 students are picked at random from the class. Find the probability that both students do not like homework and do not like tests. Straight away, this is 0 because there is only one student who does not like homework and tests. And so there is no possibility that both of the students picked do not like homework and tests. Or we can also go through the process like this. In the first pick, the probability that the student does not like homework and tests is 1 over 24. After this student is picked, the pool reduces by 1, and so the probability that the next student picked does not like homework and tests is 0 over 23. This gives us 0. 2 of the students who like homework are picked at random. Find the probability that both students also like tests. In this case, the students picked are from the pool of students who like homework, and they are 18 in total. The probability that the first student picked from this pool also likes tests is 10 over 18. After the first student is picked, the pool reduces by 1, and so the probability that the second student picked also likes tests is 9 over 17. When we type this into the calculator, we get 5 over 17. Write down the inequality in X shown by the number line. From the number line, we see that the range of X values indicated using the line is X is greater than -2 and less than and equal to 1. The circle on top of -2 is not shaded, which means it is not included in the interval. The circle on top of 1 is shaded, which means it is included in the interval. That is why we have less than and equal to 1. Write x squared plus 4x plus 1 in the form x plus p squared plus q. To express x squared plus 4x plus 1 in the form x plus p squared plus q, we need to go through the process of completing the square. It is very important to note that before going through this process, the x squared term must be equal to 1. If the coefficient of the x squared term is a positive or negative integer or a fraction, it needs to be factored out to make the x squared coefficients be equal to positive 1. Okay, so in the first step, we take the coefficient of the x term, which is 4, then divide it by 2 and square it. Then we add and subtract it such that we maintain the balance of the expression. 4 over 2 is 2. And so this is what we have. At this point, we can rewrite this section by taking the x and the 2, then squaring it to become x plus 2 squared. This other section, which is -2 squared plus 1, becomes -3. And so our final answer here is x plus 2 squared minus 3. Use your answer to part BI to solve the equation x squared plus 4x plus 1 equals 0. Based on our answer from the previous question, we can rewrite this equation as x plus 2 squared minus 3 equals 0. When we add 3 to both sides of the equation, we get x plus 2 squared equals 3. When we take the square root of both sides, we have x plus 2 equals plus and minus square root of 3. When we subtract 2 from both sides, we get x equals -2 plus and minus square root of 3. One of the values of x will be -2 plus square root of 3, which is -0.268, correct to 3 significant figures. And the other value of x will be -2 minus square root of 3, which is -3.73, correct to 3 significant figures. Use your answer to part BI to write down the coordinates of the minimum point on the graph y equals x squared plus 4x plus 1. For our answer to part BI, we were able to get the quadratic x squared plus 4x plus 1 in the form x plus 2 squared minus 3. In this form, it is easy to tell the coordinate of the turning point, or more specifically in this case, the minimum point of the quadratic function. The y-coordinate is simply -3. To get the x-coordinate, we equate x plus 2 to 0, which gives us -2. And so our final answer here is -2, -3. On the diagram, sketch the graph of y equals x squared plus 4x plus 1. In the previous question, we found the coordinates of the minimum point of the graph as -2, -3. In part BII, we found the values of x where y is equal to 0 as -0.268 and -3.73. The y-intercept is the constant term, which is 1. A solid cuboid measures 20 cm by 12 cm by 5 cm. Calculate the volume of the cuboid. The volume of a cuboid is its length times width times height. So in this case, we have the volume as 20 times 12 times 5 cm cubed. This gives us 1,200 cm cubed. Calculate the total surface area of the cuboid. By applying the formula for finding the surface area of a cuboid, this is what we get. When we type this into the calculator, we get the surface area of the cuboid as 800 centimeters squared. The surface of the cuboid is painted. The cost of the paint used is $1.52. Find the cost to paint 1 centimeter squared of the cuboid. Give your answer in cents. First, let's set up our ratio. If the cost of the paint used for the surface of the cuboid, which is 800 centimeters squared, is $1.52, then what will be the cost for 1 centimeter squared? This is the cost we are representing as x. From the ratio, we can set up the equation to find x as 1 centimeter squared divided by 800 centimeters squared times $1.52. $1 is 100 cents, so we multiply 1.52 by 100. This gives us 0.19 cents. A solid metal cylinder with radius x and height 9x/2 is melted. All the metal is used to make a sphere with radius r. Find r in terms of x. If the solid cylinder is melted to make a sphere, then it simply means the volume of the cylinder is the same as the volume of the sphere. The volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h, where r has been given as x and the height has been given as 9x/2. We also know that the volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. From here, we need to rearrange the equation to make r the subject. X squared times x is x cubed, so we have 9 pi x cubed over 2. To leave r cubed standing alone, 3 goes to multiply and 4 pi goes to divide on the other side of the equation. Pi cancels out, and so for the numerator, we have 9x cubed times 3 giving us 27x cubed. Then for the denominator, we have 2 times 4 giving us 8. 27 can be written as 3 cubed and 8 can be written as 2 cubed. So we have r cubed equals 3x/2 all cubed. To get r standing alone, we need to clear the cube. So we take cube root of both sides of the equation. This gives us r equals 3/2x or 1.5x. The diagram shows a cylinder of length 150 centimeters on horizontal ground. The cylinder has radius 20 centimeters. The cylinder contains water to a depth of 5 centimeters as shown in the diagram. Calculate the volume of water in the cylinder. Give your answer in liters. The volume of the water in the tank is equal to the cross-sectional area the water covers times its length, which is the same as the length of the cylinder in this case. If the water completely filled the cylinder, then its cross-sectional area will be straightforward. That is, it will be pi r squared. However, that is not the case, and so we need to figure out how to calculate the cross-sectional area of the water as shown in the diagram. From the illustration, we see that we can find half of the cross-sectional area of the water by subtracting the area of the triangle, which has been shaded blue, from the area of the sector, which has been outlined in pink. To find the area of the sector, we need its radius, which has been given as 20 centimeters, and we also need to know the sector angle, which has not been given directly in the question, and so we need to find that. We can easily find this angle by applying SOHCAHTOA to the triangle. The hypotenuse of the triangle is the same as the radius of the cylinder, which is 20 centimeters. The vertical height is 20 minus 5 centimeters, which is 15 centimeters. If we label the angle we want to find as alpha, we have cos alpha equals the adjacent, which is 15 centimeters, divided by the hypotenuse, which is 20 centimeters. When we make alpha the subject, we have cos inverse of 15 over 20, which gives us 41.4 degrees, correct to 1 decimal place. Using this same angle, we can also find the area of the triangle by applying the formula half AB sine theta. So we said half of the cross-sectional area of the water is equal to the area of the sector minus the area of the triangle. That means the full cross-sectional area will be 2 times the area of the sector, which is 41.4 degrees, divided by 360 degrees times pi times 20 squared, minus the area of the triangle, which is half of 15 times 20 times sine 41.4 degrees. When we type this into the calculator, this is what we get. So now the volume of the water is equal to the cross-sectional area we found times its length, which is 150 centimeters. From here, we convert the volume to meter cubed by multiplying 10 raised to the power negative 2 cubed. To convert from meter cubed to liters, we simply multiply by 1000 liters. When we type this expression into the calculator, we get 13.6 liters, correct to 3 significant figures. Calculate the perimeter of the quadrilateral ABCD. The perimeter is simply the distance round the shape of an object. So in this case, the perimeter of the quadrilateral ABCD is AB plus AD plus BC plus CD. By applying SOHCAHTOA, we get the length of AB as 14 cos 35 centimeters and the length of AD as 14 sine 35 centimeters. And by applying the sine rule, we get the length of BC as 7 root 3 over sine 75 centimeters and the length of CD as 7 root 2 over sine 75 centimeters. When we add up the values of all the 4 side lengths of ABCD, we get 42.3 centimeters, correct to 3 significant figures. The diagram shows a cube. The length of the diagonal AB is 8.5 centimeters. Calculate the length of an edge of the cube. All the side lengths of a cube are equal, and each of its interior angles is 90 degrees. On the diagram, we have formed a right-angled triangle with AB as the hypotenuse. We've also represented the side length of the cube with x. For now, let's also call the base of our triangle y. By applying the Pythagoras theorem, we have x squared plus y squared equals 8.5 squared. Y is the hypotenuse of the right-angled triangle formed at the base of the cube. And by applying the Pythagoras theorem to this triangle, we get y squared equals x squared plus x squared, which we can substitute substitute into our equation. X squared plus x squared plus x squared is 3x squared. When we make x the subject, we get square root of 8.5 squared divided by 3. When we type this into the calculator, we get 4.91, correct to 3 significant figures. Calculate the angle between AB and the base of the cube. On the diagram, we have labeled this angle as alpha, and by applying SOHCAHTOA, we can find the value of alpha. So we get sine alpha equals the opposite, which is x, and we found that as 4.91 centimeters divided by the hypotenuse, which is 8.5 centimeters. When we make alpha the subject of the equation, we have sine inverse of 4.91 over 8.5. When we type this into the calculator, we get 35.3 degrees, correct to 1 decimal place. Find f of 2. To find f of 2, all we have to do is replace x in f of x with 2. This gives us 3 times 2 minus 2, which is equal to 4. Find g of 2. To find g of 2, we replace x with 2 in g of x. This gives us 5 times 2 minus 7, which is equal to 3. Find g of f of 2. To find g of f of 2, all we need to do is replace x in g of x with f of 2, which we found in the previous question as 4. This gives us 5 times 4 minus 7, which is equal to 13. Find f inverse of x. We know that f of x is equal to 3x minus 2. In the next step, we need to replace f of x with x and replace x with y. This gives us x equals 3y minus 2. From here, we need to make y the subject of the equation. This gives us y equals x plus 2 divided by 3. This expression we have found for y is the same as f inverse of x. So f inverse of x is also equal to x plus 2 over 3. Find h of f of x, given your answer in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. To get h of f of x, we replace x in h of x with f of x. In other words, anywhere we see x in h of x, we take it out and replace it with f of x. This gives us 3x minus 2 squared plus 3x minus 2. We can easily expand the square brackets by squaring 3x, which is 9x squared. Then we multiply the terms in the brackets, 3x times negative 2, which is negative 6x. Then we multiply this by 2, giving us negative 12x. Then finally, we square negative 2, which is negative 2 all squared, giving us 4. From here, all we need to do is group like terms to have our final results be in the form indicated in the question. Negative 12x plus 3x is negative 9x, and 4 minus 2 is 2. And so our final answer here is 9x squared minus 9x plus 2. Find the derivative of h of x. For the x squared term, 2 times the coefficient, which is 1, gives us 2. Then we subtract 1 from the power, giving us x. For the x term, when we multiply the power, which is 1, by the coefficient, which is also 1, we get 1. When we subtract 1 from the power, we get x raised to the power 0, which is the same as 1. And so our final answer becomes 2x plus 1. Find x when j inverse of x equals 4. To find the inverse of j of x, we replace j of x with x and replace x with y. Since y is the same as j inverse of x and j inverse of x is 4, then we have x equals 3 raised to the power 4, which is 81. Simplify j inverse of j of x. Whenever we are finding the inverse function of the same function, as in this case, the result will be whatever it is in the brackets, and for this case, this is x. These are the first 4 terms of a sequence. Write down the next term. For the given sequence, we see that there is a common difference of -4 between the terms, and so to get the next term in the sequence, we subtract 4 from -1. This gives us -5. Write down the term-to-term rule for this sequence. This rule is subtract 4. Find the nth term of this sequence. To find the nth term of a sequence with a common difference, we apply this formula, where A1 is the first term of the sequence, which in this case is 11, and D is the common difference, which is -4. When we expand the brackets and group like terms, we get 15 minus 4n as our final answer. The nth term of a different sequence is 2n over n plus 1. Find the difference between the fifth term and the sixth term of this sequence. Give your answer as a fraction. The difference between the sixth term and fifth term will be the sixth term, which we get by substituting 6 into the nth term, minus the fifth term, which we get by substituting 5 into the nth term. When we type this into the calculator, we get 1 over 21. We need to leave our answer in this fraction form as specified in the question. Is 3 over 4 a term in this sequence? Show how you decide. We've been given the nth term as 2n over n plus 1. So first, let's make n the subject of this equation. When we multiply both sides of the equation by n plus 1, this is what we get. When we expand the brackets, this is what we get. From here, we rearrange the equation to put all the terms containing n on one side of the equation. When we factor out n, we are left with 2 minus an. When we divide both sides of the equation by 2 minus an, we have n equals an divided by 2 minus an. If 3 over 4 is a term in this sequence, we should get a positive integer value for n. When we substitute 3 over 4 into the equation, we get 3 over 5. Since n is not a positive integer, then 3 over 4 is not a term in the sequence. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video useful. See you in the next video. Bye guys.